Welcome. I'm Peter Grear, and today we're diving into a critical discussion about Black economic power, a topic with profound implications for our global future. Did you know that Black communities generate 1.5 trillion plus in annual income and represent over 1.5 billion consumers worldwide? These numbers illustrate a powerful economic force, yet systematic inequality continue to deny Black communities the equity they deserve. Joining me today is Gerry McCann, a dedicated Pan-Africanist and advocate for global economic justice. Together, we'll explore how to harness this potential to challenge systems of exploitation and build a future rooted in equity. The 1.5 trillion annual Black income and over 1.5 billion consumers worldwide represent an unparalleled economic opportunity. But how much of this wealth is being reinvested into Black communities? Gerry, when you hear these numbers, what comes to mind about the potential of Black economic power?
Peter, when I hear those numbers, I think they're low. That number should be closer to 2 trillion globally versus 1.5. We have tremendous economic power throughout the globe. It just needs to be distributed in the right place. And obviously, it's been stifled by systematic barriers. And so we need to redirect a percentage of that income into communities that we represent.
You've spoken before about how this dynamic plays out globally, especially in Africa. Can you elaborate?
Well, Africa is the key to the next generation of African Americans and the diaspora. Uh, it has all the resources, all the capital, uh, multi-generational sort of legacy across the globe, but yet we still have issues with multinational corporations that exploit the continent. And we don't have a solid agreement that's going to encourage, I think, anything else but what's going on now, which is to really go in and capture as much wealth and resources as some of these multinational corporations can. And so we as Africans in America really have to sit down at the table and hit the reset button. Those are some of my thoughts.
Despite the scale of Black economic power, systemic barriers persist, and African multinationals exploit resources while offering little in return. In the West, attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs undermine pathways to economic progress. Gerry, let's connect the dots. How does the fight against DEI initiatives in the U.S. relate to economic exploitation abroad?
Peter, we've got a little bit of a challenge. I think it's the same system, exploitation of equity, I would say, more than anything else. We've got some challenges, and with the new administration coming in, as you know, in the United States, things are not going to get any easier. So I think there's some things that we have to do strategically with, maybe the Black Legislative Caucus, Congressional Black Caucus, and others, where we can set sort of the stage for what we need to do in the future. And economically, we just need to control as much of our dollars as we possibly can and really get some global participation and partnerships across the globe in the diaspora.
In today's hyper-connected world, technology offers new ways to fight back. Movements like hashtag Buy Black and Pan-African initiatives are using digital platforms to build wealth pipelines that benefit Black communities globally.
Technology is key. It continues to make us more nimble in a way. We can communicate a lot more efficiently and faster. But still, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to one thing, and that's how can we unify our efforts? How can we come up with more solutions that will put more dollars in the pockets of the people that we're talking about? And, you know, how do we change our whole educational system that impacts our young people every day? We've got some things we've got to do. We really, really need to get serious about what we're talking about today, because I'm 6 decades in, 60 plus, and I don't want to see the next generation of young African Americans have to deal with what I've dealt with. And so we've got to create some kind of platform and framework to help change the dynamics of what's going on right now.
To fully harness the 1.5 trillion plus in annual income and 1.5 billion consumers, we need a plan. Here's what we must prioritize. Number one, we should shift spending to Black-owned businesses and invest in community infrastructure. Number two, we should demand that multinationals operating in Africa and other Black majority regions reinvest profits locally. Number three, equip the next generation with tools for leadership in technology, entrepreneurship, and policymaking. Number four, build trade and investment bridges between Africa and the diaspora.
Peter, we've got to change the mindset. We've got to really focus on psychologically, socially, economically, with a plan that's impactful and that's long-term, that's going to change the dynamics of what's going on right now. I just don't, I think we've had enough time to negotiate the kind of opportunities that we're talking about on the other side of the aisle, even politically, and it just hasn't been delivered. And so I think independently, we've got to do something that's going to change the game for what we're talking about, that's going to empower, African Americans in the diaspora across the globe. It's just no other way. I don't see any other way out.
Also, I'm inclined to agree. The Black community's economic power is undeniable, but to unlock its full potential, we must act, as Gerry said. This is about more than numbers. It's about creating systems that ensure lasting equity. If you like what we're doing in our podcast, please subscribe, share, and join the movement for economic equity. Together, we can harness the 1.5 trillion plus and the strength of 1.5 billion consumers worldwide to build a future of justice and prosperity. Thank you for watching. Let's stay informed, stay united, and keep pushing for changes.
Thank you.